The weekend is here, ladies and gentlemen, and that means one thing. It's time for this week's Top 5 Camps. And as ever, I've got some absolute bangers for you. Now, your judge this week is Tailor-Made Wasteland, and for those of you who are new to the channel, the first half of this video is going to be the best clean builds of the week, and the second half is going to be the best immersive ones. So with all that being said, let's stop knobbing around and take a look at these builds. In the number 5 spot for the clean camps, we have Dazy Mead with the Little House on the Hill. And right off the bat, mate, I can't see a bloody thing wrong with it. This is a fucking masterpiece. Fair play to you, buddy. I love the shape of the thing. It does stand out. It is rather unique. And it's been properly done as well. You know, it's not just been slapped together. We've got little building tricks like overhanging roof pieces. We've got my favourite, the good old underpinnings. You know, someone actually said in the Discord the other day about underpinnings and all this shite that I usually go on about. And you know what? Yeah, it may seem ridiculous to you watching it, but in a competition which is so close every week, something as simple as an underpinning can make a difference. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do some merch with an underpinning on it. Yeah, sorry, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, aren't I? Yeah, Daz, this exterior, you've smashed it, pal. And I've also noticed you've put skylights in as well. There you go, guys, another nice little touch that didn't have to be done, but what Daz has done. And it's made him stand out from the crowd. Do you see what I'm getting at? Another aspect I liked about Dazy's build, personally, is the interior decor. It's just awesome. I mean, I can't fault it one little bit. It looks right, it looks spot on. No complaints from me there. Daz, congratulations on the number 5 spot. You have done a wicked job on this. Even your filming is improved massively as well. It's nice to see you finally getting into top 5 after so many months of uploading. Honestly, dude, keep this up. This is a properly nice build, this. Thank you very much for entering, buddy. In the number 4 spot this week, we have Moonlight Cowboy. Oh, that can't be right. This is a square build. It's not round and floating. However, I'm looking at it, so I guess it must be. Nah, guys, on a serious note, Moonlight is actually a master at building in these kind of locations as well, as is evident on the screen in front of you now. That's some impressive work, that. Now, yes, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a massive fan of the exterior of this thing, although it is built to fit in with the bridge, so I get it. That being said though, simply building in this location, yeah, is like getting kicked in the penis repeatedly. It's a pain in the arse, is what I'm trying to say. Now, if we cast our eyes onto the interior of this place, it's typical Moonlight Cowboy. It's very clean, it is beautifully decorated. He never goes too far with it, you know what I'm saying? It is rather minimalistic compared to Summit builds you see, but it's not bloody over the top either, it's a nice compromise. My favourite part about said interior was the kitchen area. Them kitchen counters are fucking phenomenal, mate. I don't know how you've made them. In fact, yeah, I do. You've used I think it's the Slocum Joe's counters with the modern kitchen set inside of them. Am I right? Let me know down in comments. Either way, like I said, that was my favourite part of the interior, and it was also Tailor-Made's as well. So yeah, good job on that one, pal. Moonlight, you've done an awesome job on this. As I said, I'm not a massive fan of the exterior of it. However, there's no denying it is incredible. Like I said, the location is really difficult, and you've even put a skylight in, for Christ's sake. Moonlight, thank you very much for entering this week. Congratulations on the number 4 spot. In the number 3 spot, we have NV Teddy with the Up House. And I don't really have to say anything, do I? This is... It's awesome. Now, granted, I haven't watched the film with any great interest. You know, it's just been one of them when my son's been sitting at side of me. However, surprisingly, I knew exactly what it was. Whether that was just down to the balloons or not, I don't know. But even this uncultured bastard knew exactly what this was supposed to be. This is an awesome replica of the house. In fact, let's do a test on how convincing this build actually is. I'll ask my son here. Hey, dude, do you know what movie this house is off, lad?
The Up Movie.
There you go, mini TNG approved. And it's not just visually pleasing either, it's quite technical. I mean, first off, the bugger's floating. It is not supported by anything whatsoever. Now, in custom worlds, that's a piece of piss. However, in adventure mode, not so easy. So, yeah, that's one technical aspect. Another thing that caught my eye is the shape of the house as well. We've got a little bit of angulation in the situation. Again, not terribly difficult to do, but it is, you know, it's an extra step that makes it a little bit more ball achy. Teddy, you've done a solid job on it. I can't bloody fault the thing. You've even got your character dressed up as a Boy Scout. Attention to detail. I think, and this is just me being a picky bugger, right? The only thing I can find wrong with it, there's not enough balloons. But that is minor, right? And I'm more than willing to take abuse in the comments for that statement. Right, so we've had a good look at the exterior. Let's head on inside and see what's done in there. And right, okay, nothing too over the top, which is what I'd expect from this build in particular. He's trying to replicate something at the end of the day. You don't want to go too mad with it and stray too far away from the movie. Overall, Teddy, yeah, this is really, really cool, this, and it's a fun build as well. I have seen a few done in the past, don't get me wrong, but this is one of the best ones, in my humble opinion. Thank you very much for entering this week, my friend, and congratulations on the number 3 spot. More than well deserved. That were fantastic. Put a smile on my face. On to the number 2 spot, and this week it is Chipped Ass Medium with the Billboard Apartment. Now, before we go any further and actually take a look at the build, I've been asked to make you aware by TaylorMade that this build is heavily inspired by Mr. Church's Billboard camp. Also, Chipped Ass has said this in his video as well, so before the comments start appearing down below, we know it's fine, don't worry. Anyhow, with that being said, let's take a look at this camp, and wow, this is quite a nice looking build. It's very modern and clean, isn't it? I mean, this just defines this section of the competition perfectly. Now, I do like the shape of this place. I am a fan of the exterior. I think it looks half decent. Personally, it wouldn't be as high up if it was me judging. Now, that's not a dig at Chipped Ass's build by any means. It's just personal preference, and I like to throw that out there. Anyhow, yeah, it is a nice looking camp, and it's very simple as well. But in this case, I don't think that's a bad thing. You can go over the top with modern builds. It's easily done. I've seen it a million times now. But this, yeah, it's a nice balance. What makes this camp special, in my opinion at least, is the interior on it and how Chipped Ass has incorporated a billboard into one of the walls. Well, the billboard is the wall. That's why it's called the Billboard Apartment. Anyhow, I think that looks fucking awesome. That's a really clever use of the billboard. Sure beats normal wallpaper, 1000%. And guys, regardless of this being inspired by another build, getting that in there mustn't have been an easy feat. Those billboards are big, they're cumbersome, and I wouldn't have liked to, have tried to shoe on that in myself. So again, Chipped Ass, fair play to you, mate. That looks bloody spot on, that does. Now, as well as the giant billboard, the rest of this place is fairly well decorated. Again, it's nothing too extreme. It is quite reserved, but it's not offensive. It looks decent. Yeah, no complaints from me on that front, buddy. Chipped Ass, thank you very much for entering this week. I think you've done a stunning job on that. And like I say, despite it being inspired by another build, I think you've made it your own and you've done a stellar job on it. Congratulations on the number 2 spot. More than well deserved. Right then, so now we come to the clean build number 1 spot. And who do you think's got it this week? Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to keep you waiting for just a little bit longer, because it's time for the honourable mentions section, yes. And this week it goes to Seamobat96 with the pirate ship camp. And this is, quite frankly, one of the better pirate ships I've seen. In fact, it's actually very, very impressive. Even more so considering you've done this in adventure mode. That bow at the front there is just, it's perfect. I can't fault that whatsoever. The sails as well, again, another really nice touch. In fact, to be honest with you, pal, this whole bloody thing's really well put together. You even use counters to make the bleeding thing. That's dedication, and it must have taken bloody ages. Now, the only reason this isn't in the top 5 is because it feels a little bit underdecorated, and that's what TaylorMade said as well. However, we both can see that this must have taken up a lot of budget, so the decor you have managed to get down is quite impressive, and it's functional as well. It looks like it should be on a pirate ship. Thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the clean honourable mention. More than well deserved. You've knocked that one out at park, pal. Right then, so that brings us back to the number 1 spot, and who do you think's got it this week? Drumroll, please. This week's clean number 1 spot goes to Lady H with the Sesame Street build. What a fucking amazing job she's done on this. I can't fault it. It's, yeah, that's all I've got to say. This is pretty much a perfect replica of Sesame Street. Now, I vaguely remember watching this as a kid way back in 1872. That being said, I can't remember much of it, but I have had a look on Google, and yeah, it's accurate as hell, guys. It really is. I mean, even the bloody building placements are reminiscent of the set, and the level of detail as well is, it's next level. Seriously, guys, this is impressive. Straight up with you now, right? Building a cityscape in itself is hard enough. There is quite a few challenges with it, and to make it look realistic, yeah, it's not easy. So the fact that Lady H has just said, you know what, sod it, today I'm going to punish myself and try and recreate a film set that is that's known by millions in a game where you have to bend the laws of physics to get the building mechanics to work correctly is admirable. And on top of that, the fact that you've managed to make it look so convincing is, yeah, I'm really, really impressed with this, Lady H. Thank you very much for entering this week. Stunning work as ever. Congratulations on the #1 spot. More than well deserved. Hats off to you, mate. Right, so that wraps up the top 5 clean camps. Next up, we've got the top 5 immersive camps. However, just before we get to that, I'm guessing that some of you guys watching may fancy trying your hand at the top 5 competition. And if that's the case, it's really simple to do. All you got to do is look in the description of this video and you'll see a link to my Discord. Once you're in there, submit your videos via YouTube link in this section here, and hey presto, you'll be entered into that week's top 5. Anyhow, enough of future top 5s, let's get back to the task at hand and take a look at these immersive builds. In the #5 spot, we have Sorrow with the Mad Max build. And before we even take a look at anything else, can we just appreciate the amount of decor that's been put on this camp and how bloody fantastic it looks. Jesus Christ, Sorrow, you have nailed the immersion with the decoration on this. It is actually really, really awesome. Seriously, dude, solid job on that. Now, the actual camp itself, it isn't that big. It's quite simply the Blood Eagle Lookout Tower, I do believe, or the Blood Eagle Watch Post, whatever it's called. I can't remember. The point is, yeah, it's a really small camp with what is basically a little compound built around it. There's nothing much to it at all. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a prime example of how powerful decorating can be. You don't have to do much, but if you decorate it properly, in some cases, it transforms it. Straight up with you now, if this build was just the prefab and a couple of junk defensive walls, it wouldn't be anything too impressive, and that's just me being truthful. However, with that being said, Sorrow has spent, obviously, a huge amount of time actually kitting this place up, and it's made all the difference. It looks fantastic. Sorrow, thank you very much for entering this week. I love this camp. Really solid work on this one. Congratulations on the #5 spot. Coming in at #4, we have Slog with the Immersive Raider Junk Camp. And yeah, you got the title right. This is immersive. It defo looks like a bit of wasteland architecture. Now, I love the choice of building set that you've used here, or building sets. You've mixed them up a little bit, and it does give it a bit more of a junky vibe. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Mixing up building materials on immersive kind of builds is a really cool little trick you can do. It does add to it. Makes them look ramshackled. It makes them look thrown together. Aye, from what I can see of the exterior, dude, you've done a decent job on it. I wish that your camera work was a little bit different. You know, we got a few more wide-angled and sweeping shots of the structure so we could have a proper look at it, but that's just me picking at it. Don't worry about it. Now, Slog, your interior it's really well done, pal. I can't fault it one bit. I love the little merges you've got going on and the way you've got junk scattered everywhere. I'm also really impressed with your shelving as well. Guys, that's a really easy trick that you can learn to do. It just requires a bloody doormat. Honestly, for a couple of minutes of your time, you can take a bare, shit-looking shelf that we can't place anything on for inexplicable reasons and turn it into a junk-filled pensioner's mantelpiece of joy that we've got here. Yeah, it's a nice touch. And of course, on a final note, I like the water wheel inside of your camp. It gives it an industrial kind of feel. I think that's the word I'm looking for. I don't know. Slog, thank you very much for entering this week, my friend. Congratulations on the #4 spot. Well deserved. Coming in at number 3, we have Daehlas with the Riverside Ram Shack. Right, so let me tell you a little bit about this camp. I've been fortunate enough to see it in game, and the stuff that you can see on video it doesn't do it justice. There is so much detail that Daehlas put into this, you'd have to have a walk around it yourself. In a nutshell, this camp is very small, but it packs a massive punch, and that is... that's what she said before you get me in the comments, you bastards. Now, the location that Daehlas chose is also really cool as well. It's very underused. I've not seen anybody build here, to be honest with you. Tell a lie, no. I think this is actually where I saw a giant Charmander looming out the fog. I absolutely shit myself. But yeah, other than that one, this is the only camp I've ever seen in this location. Structure-wise, there isn't too much going on. This is another build that relies heavily on its decor, and luckily, Daehlas is more than up to the task. I mean, guys, just look at it. It's right in front of you. This is expertly done. Everything is in its place. Everything looks right, like it should be there. Yeah, 10 out of 10. And the way you've incorporated that pre-existing ramp as well. Top marks. So, from the little bit of interior that we do have on this camp, it's very much like the outside. It's beautifully decorated. The junk looks like it was put there by a human hand. Yeah, it's fucking phenomenal, Daehlas. You know that I love your builds and I love your decorating, and I'm glad Taylor's chose this to be in. And just between you and me, my friend, if I were judging this week, you'd be higher up. Thank you very much for entering this week, buddy, and congratulations on the number 3 spot. More than well deserved. Right then, so in the number 2 spot, we're going back to the junkyard with Only Size Abandoned Modern Home Build. And I'm so glad you resubmitted this, mate. When you put it in for the Halloween comp, I was so gutted I couldn't show it, but it's here now, so that's fantastic news. Okay then, right, let's just breathe all of this in. This camp isn't so much immersive, more of realistic, if that makes any sense. This could be a modern world abandoned home. It gives me the same kind of vibes as Shez 79's builds. They're also extremely realistic. I don't know, builds like this just feel really unique, and there's not really too much to this one. Anyway, on the exterior, we've just got a simple shape. I think the most complicated bit about it is the double roofs. It's nothing too taxing. I think a lot of it is down to the way it's decorated. That gives it that realism. And personally, guys, I think that's more evident on the interior of it. I mean, look at that. It looks like an abandoned house. Like, straight up, that's pretty damn convincing, that is. And again, guys, it is nothing overly complicated. This is just, it's simple decor. I've always said, and you've probably heard me mention it, you can go 2 ways with immersive decor. You can ram it to the rafters with shite, or you can make it look a lot more in-gamey, a little bit less in it, like Moonlight Build here. And when you get it right, like this one here, it looks absolutely incredible. Like, the atmosphere in this build, yeah, it's awesome. Moonlight, thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the number 2 spot. I'm so happy that you chose to resubmit this. Cheers, buddy. Okay then, so now we come to the immersive honourable mentions section, and this week we have gone for Acid Rain's Steakhouse build. Taylor told me this wasn't an easy one to place. From the outside, it looks extremely immersive. I love the shape of this thing, and it does most certainly have some wastelandy vibes about it. On the interior front though, it's just a little bit too clean to make it into the top 5. Now, that's not to say it isn't well decorated, because believe me, it is. This is amazing work. It's incredibly well put together. Quite simply, Acid Rain, you've killed it with this build. It's complicated, it's unique, yeah, top notch. Thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the honourable mention. More than well deserved. And with that, guys, we come back to the number 1 spot of the immersive category. And who do you think's got it this week? Well, fortunately, I'm not going to keep you waiting for any longer. This week's winner is KH Corners with the twin trailer Salvage camp. And what an amazing use of this location. Straight up with you now, guys, I've never seen this spot, and the way that KH has incorporated those 2 trucks into his build, that is something else. And the best thing about these 2 trailers, in my opinion, you can build inside of them. I'm all for unique stuff like this, guys. It stands out, it breaks the mold a little bit, and it's interesting to look at, especially when it's well decorated. The level that people can decorate at in this community it's fucking unreal. I can't explain it. I mean, look at KH's build here. It is so well done. And guys, I say this all the time, right? It is so hard to decorate in this manner. It's not easy. And yeah, I know, I repeat that same line every single week on well done immersive camps, but I can't stress to you how difficult it is to style your camp in this manner. It truly is an art form in itself. You have to have a keen eye for detail. That's why I'm shit at it. KH, you have killed it with this build. Everything about it. The structure that you've made over the trailers themselves. Everything is simply lovely. And Taylor, I think you've made an amazing choice at putting this in the #1 spot. To be honest with you, I think you've called all the right shots this week. KH, thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the #1 spot. More than well deserved, dude. And congratulations to everybody who entered the competition this time round. It wasn't easy, believe me. Taylor, he had a nightmare with it. I think my pick of the week that wasn't featured has to be, let's have a look. Ah yeah, Macabraya's BOS ship. I love this thing. I think my personal favourite bit about it, just looking at it now, is the cockpit you've made. Is that the display case that you've merged in? That's clever. Aye, Macca, I was a massive fan of this build, buddy. I like the colours on it, I like the shape, and I just like the overall design and theme of it. Fair play to you, bud. I wish I could show a bit more of it, but I'm really running out of time. If any of you guys watching want to see more of this build, the link will be in the description, along with every other builder in the top 5. As ever, I'd like to say a massive thank you to all my Patreons and channel members. The extra support is much appreciated. If that's anything that you guys watching are interested in, there's a link in description, as well as links to all my other socials as well. Anyhow, as we say it north, I will love you and leave you, and I'll catch you next one. Have fun.